day, my viewers. This is Video Fashion, and today we are learning how to cut double play gown with bishop collar neck, then puff sleeve. So if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Please share and subscribe as well. Thank you very much for this tutorial. The middle point is 8, the underbust is 10.5, the half length is 14, then the circumference of the bust is 33, circumference of underbust is 29, half length is 29. Then where the place going to start from is 20. So this one is 21. Where it's going to start from is 20. Then the shoulder is 16. The sleeve, the round sleeve for this elbow is 10.5, so that's what I'm going to make it up, and the hip is 36. So now what I'm going to do is the gown length is 36, so my client is very skinny and short. So now I'll fold my fabric into two. So I'm going to pick the peak of this side, then go this way. So I'm going to cut the flap first, since that's the part I'm going to consume more fabric. So then the hip length, where the flap is going to start from is an inch to the hip length, and the hip length of my client is 21. So which I'm going to say 20. The gown length is 36 minus the hip length. That will give me minus the hip length will give me 36 minus 20. That's 16 inches. Then I'll add my seam allowance to it of 1 inch. That will give me 17 inches. So I'll chalk out 17 inches. Then come to this peak side where I have like my arc. I'll just go around with the paper. I have 29 inches here. So I'll chalk around 29 inches. So after the 29 inches, I'll come back to this particular point which I chopped, where the 17 inches end. The length from there, from the peak to that point is 12 inches. Then I will go around with the 12 inches as well. So I'll measure what I have, which is 36, exactly the hip length of my client. So I will need small inch extra. So I just need to adjust it more. That's for my seam and zip allowance. So 12. So I'll measure it again. Now I'm having 10 inches. That's okay. So I'll just cut it out. By cutting, I'll notch the middle parts. Then the second flap is going to be pleated on it, on this first flap. So what I will do is I will double the hip length, the hip circumference is 36, then I will double that at 36. I can say 36 hip times 2.5. Let me just use 2.5 inches. That's going to give me 36 at the second flap, 90 inches by 12.5 inches. I had half inch just for the weaving. I will weave the down of this particular fabric. So now the reason why I use 12 inches, the flap, there is distance between the first flap and the second flap. So the first flap is 12.5 inches. There is distance of 5 inches between the two. So that's why I use 12.5 for this one. Then I'm using something for this one. So if I fold, I'm going to weave this one as well. I'm going to weave the one on the top. So I'll now cut my main bodice. I'll first cut the back side, because there's no zipper at the back, so I can use that for my front. So the half length of my client is 14 inches. So I will add half to it. Then, sorry, I will add 1 to it. Then I'll come and I'll measure my bust point, which is 8 inches, then 10.5 for the under bust. I'll connect the lines. I'll measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 16 inches. I'll measure the shoulder. Then on the bust point, I'll measure the circumference, which is 33. 33 divided by 4 will give me 8.25. Then I'll have 2 inches seam allowance free. I would likewise for here. The under bust is 29 inches, which is 39 divided by 4 will give me 7.25. I'll add 2 inches seam allowance free. The half length is 29 divided by 4 is 7 plus 2 inch seam allowance. So I'll transfer the same measurement here. Then I'll connect the lines like so. I'll come up here at the shoulder length. I'll measure 6.5 inches. Reason being that the person is not really fat like that. So at the armhole, I'll measure 4.5 inches again. Then at this sharp corner, which it looks like triangle, I'll measure 1 inch just to give it the armhole shape. Then I'll slant it like so. So I'll cut it out. That's the back side. My back body is on my front, on the remaining fabric to cut out the front body. So I left 1.5 inches allowance at the front part. That's for the button. There is button at the front, so that's for the buttonholes and the button. Then it's going to have a bishop collar. So that's what this allowance is meant for. So I'll just cut everything out. Then extend now I'll do the neckline. The neckline, I'll come in by 2.5 inches. Then because I'm cutting both front and back together, I'll measure 1 inch for the neckline. That's for the back length neckline. I'll cut it out. Then for the shoulder, I'll measure 1 inch here. Then give it a slant shape to this side. And I'll cut that out as well. So I'll remove the back. Let me just notch the middle of the back. So this will help me while fixing my collar. Then the allowance I left for the button, I will notch that also. Then I'll first measure. I will measure 2.5 inches for the front part before I notch the armhole. Before I notch the button. So now let me notch the 1.5 inch. Then I'll still trim out of this front shoulder because the collar is going to relax. So for it to relax, I'll remove one half inch here on both sides. I'll just remove half inch. So that will help the back to come down very well. The front will drag it down. So this is for the front. Then for the down part. Now for the down part, where the flare is going to be connected to, I measured my 20 inches. You know, I said it's an inch to the hip length, and the hip length is 21. So I measured 20 inches from the shoulder. That's why I placed back. I have to place back this so it will be clear. So now I added 1 inch seam allowance to it. Next thing I will do is my hip measurement. The hip measurement of my client is 36. So I'll measure the 36 inches. Then add seam allowance to it, which is 2 inches. So without the shape is there, I'll just slant it to come and meet the half length. The reason why I didn't cut it together is because there is joining there. So I'll just trim out this. Then I'm going to cut another of this. You know, it's both front and back, and this is for the back. So I will still cut another one. I will notch the middle. I will notch the middle of this too. So I'll cut another side of this. So now for the sleeve, because the sleeve is the remaining fabric is not enough, I got another half trouser, and the half trouser I will have to do joining at the middle part for the sleeve, because the length, I want it to be very puffy, but the length of this can't reach. So now what I'm going to do, I will leave ½ inch for the joining at the middle part. Then I measured the circumference of the sleeve, which is 11 inches or 10.5 inches. So I approximated it to 11 inches, so I used 5.5. Then I added 1 inch seam allowance to it, making 6.5. Then here, I said I left ½ inch for my seam allowance for the middle part. Then I measured at the bicep, I measured 12 inches, which is the circumference of the bicep. Then I gave it 1 inch seam allowance. So this is the shape of the sleeve. But because it's a puffy sleeve, I measure additional 10 inches. This is your choice depending on how big and puffy you want it to be. So I added 10 inch extra. So I'll be going this way. So I'll cut it out now. Buttonholes, I'll measure the length I have here, which is 13 inches. That's, you can see the length, 13 inches. So I'll come to my remaining fabric and measure 13 inches by 2 inches. 13 by 2. 13 inches. The width will be 2 inches. Collar, I'll measure the circumference. I've gone ahead to join my shoulder together, the front side and the back side. I've joined everything together. Then I'll measure the circumference I have here. That's for I'll measure the circumference I have here. So I have 18 inches. That's what I'm going to use for my collar circumference. So I'll measure 18 inches. Then I will add 1 inch seam allowance to it, making 19 inches. So it will be 19 by 2 inches. So I'll cut it out. I cut 2 of these, so I'm going to use 1 for facing. So it's still the same fabric, so I'm going to use 1 for facing. Then the collar shape, I'll fold this into 2 like so. Then I'll come up here. I'll measure 1 inch. Then from this 1 inch, I'll just give it a curved shape. This length back. Then I will notch the middle of this. So that's all. Now this is the wrong side of the clothes, you can see. So now I've added my stitch to this fabric. So I'll just place it on it. I'm sewing it from the wrong side. And I'll sew here. The wrong side like so. I'll turn it back to the right side. Then I'll first stitch here. See, I've ironed this inch, small inch, not up to ½ inch. I've ironed it out. So I'll just stitch this side, then sew here as well. I've done it for both sides. It's going to be on top of each other like this. So the next thing I will do now is to fix my collar. So this is my collar I've added my stitch that as well. So you know I told you I cut one for facing. So the next, what I'll do now is to go around stitch all through this side, then leave small inch, not up to half inch, and iron like so. Iron like this for the whole collar. I've ironed it. I've sewn the two together, then I ironed it. Then this middle part, which I marked, I will sew it from the round side since I'm not using lining for this. So the launch part with the launch part of the black, then I use my pin to secure it together. And I will round stitch on it. Now I've joined this to the wrong side, so to sew the front part, I've ironed it. I'll just stitch it like so, since it's ironed. Sew the neck and sew the collar. So the next thing is to place this on each other. I mean the bottom side. I'll place it on each other and stitch. So after that, I will now sew this band on it. I notch the middle, so I'll notch the middle of this and sew this together. Like so. So now after sewing this side together, I will iron it, then run my stitch, my actual measurement. Now I've seen out the measurements. The next thing is to fix the sleeve. So to fix the sleeve, I said I'm going to do small joining here. So I've joined that part, then I've folded the down part. So now I'm going to start my rubber, or fixing my rubber through this hole. Then bring it out here. I'm going to join the two together like so. Then I will pleat it at the armpit.